Ladies and gentlemen, it's Ellis.
Gibbons.
Gibbons. All right. All right, Ellis. We're ready for you.
So imagine you are a Roman blank. You trade objects in the Mediterranean Sea, such as wine and. Does anybody know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Go.
Blacksmith.
No.
No. Roman ships.
No.
Tradesman.
No.
Ship.
Close. Close. Jane?
Trader.
No. What else is that though? Okay.
A merchant.
Correct. What? So for my project, I did Roman naval ships and Roman merchant ships. And this is just a video to kind of show you what a trireme ship is.
Roman.
I have no idea what's Greek, but it is a trireme.
Greek is more like ancient.
No, you didn't know
It's
that.
like a giant whale.
Is there any sound on this?
That doesn't look like a whale.
Kinda.
Does it look like a whale? Doesn't have sails.
It has sterns and paddles
Or a ram.
and
No, the ram's right there.
a ram in the front of its face.
But as you can see, it's kind of challenging, but they'd have a drummer in the front who would direct them to keep them in sync.
Oh.
Wait. So my thesis statement was, ships and water vessels were an important part of the Roman Empire. They were used on rivers and the Mediterranean Sea for commerce and trade, but then also to protect the Romans and help them expand their empire. So my 4 questions were, how many types of ships were there? What kind of people would be working on board ships? How are the boats built, and what kind of artillery would be on naval ships? So there were both naval and merchant ships. For naval ships, there would be triremes and quinqueremes. Quinqueremes would be much larger in size, but triremes would be more maneuverable. And then merchant ships were just ships that would trade. So for ships, on naval ships, they carry up to 600 fighting crew, and they'd carry extra slaves or sailors. And then they'd have 1 commander, occasionally 1 drummer. And depending on the ship type, naval or merchant, they'd have anywhere from 60 to 300 on triremes and quinqueremes, and really none on merchant ships. They were powered by wind. So ships were built with pieces of wood angled at different ways, and since they were the leaders in naval defenses and naval artillery, they knew how to exactly design their ships to be the best protected, I guess. So on the artillery, they would have crossbows pretty much mounted, and they'd also have archers up in little towers like this. And the crossbows had much more power. They would be able to, depending on the size of the area, they'd be able to crush parts of the boat. And then the archers would just distract the, what's it called? The ground troops, I guess, while they got onto the enemy boat. And then I did background information on Roman trireme ships. So it had a drawbridge at the front for boarding the enemy ships with ease, like this. And now we didn't have to try and hop over both the railings. They would have a bronze-coated battering ram in the front, and that would puncture the ships and fill it with water and then have it sink. They would be normally about 150 feet long and 30 feet wide, and that's about 3 school buses put end to end. And then they'd have a lookout tower for archers, and that'd just be a little more protection also. So merchant ships, they'd really only be powered by some paddles in the back. I don't think that picture has it, but they'd be very large, and that'd just be able to steer. And humans always stayed on deck. The bottoms were always packed with goods that they'd trade. They had a lookout tower, pretty much the exact same design, but because they didn't carry any weapons on their boat, that would only be a lookout tower for pirates. After Octavian won the Battle of Actium, he set up permanent navies, and those would protect merchant ships, and that's why they didn't carry any weapons. So slaves were forced and chained for hours a day, and even night, to row with barely any food, water, or space. Criminals could be taken out of jail, and that would be in substitution for some of their punishments. Ships weren't allowed to sail or row year long. It was too risky to go and sail in the winter, because if someone fell overboard, there's a high chance they wouldn't be able to get back in the boat. In the summer, you risked attacks by pirates, but since that was the only time to trade or patrol the seas, that they had to go in the summer. So merchant ships, they would trade all over the Mediterranean. They'd go to Spain, they'd go Syria, all the way down to Egypt. They wanted to go to the big ports that had a high success of being successful while trading. So one of the main reasons of the expansion of the empire was actually merchant ships. They were very smart in a way. They would trade high valued, but also highly sought after items such as wine, oil, and grains. And because people wanted it, then they would end up having to buy it. And when they had more money, that means a bigger community, and then bigger community means more people for a navy. So I found this one interesting fact. As you can see right there, they would have designs on the front of their boat, and that could depict where they came from. So for example, a crocodile could mean a merchant ship came from the Nile River. And merchant ships, or naval ships would also do that, but they mainly just do that for attraction. So the connection to our worlds today is the Navy defenses we have on our boats. As you can see, they're incredibly similar. The barrels, they're mounted, people would stand behind them and shoot, but the only difference is how much ammo they have in them. So in conclusion, Roman ships were important because they helped keep Roman civilization safe from sea pirates. They had some of the best trade routes and merchant ships in their time, and they had some of the strongest and best equipped ships in the known world. And if the Roman Navy had never existed, the Romans would have never had a large or successful empire. We might not have had the defenses on our boats we have today, or we might not even have a navy. Here's my work site.
Okay, so you have like right there in the beginning of it, this guy, is that a rower? Like
Yeah, those would be like the people with those big paddles. Sky.
How many goods would fit on a merchant?
It completely depended on the size of them, how much space they had down below, but normally it'd be enough to trade up to a week. Jacob.
You know how many paddles were on like each ship?
Yeah, so there'd be 5 people to a paddle because they were so heavy, and they had 30 to 60 for a trireme per side. So
Sick.
yeah, that'd be. But Cal.
Do you know how long it took to build a ship?
I did not find that in my research. Jacob.
Where did they get the wood?
Okay, so the wood was mainly from cypress trees. That was a common wood back then. But then also they have wood called stone pines, and those would also be used.